Ah, Miss Dashwood.
Oh, am I the first down?
I was just admiring this view of the house. Were you the artist?
I was, yes.
Oh, I don't profess to be a great judge of these matters, but it seems most excellent to me. From where exactly did you take it? The viewpoint is most novel.
Ah, well, I'm afraid my sister must take the credit for that, Mr. Ferrers. She has a great eye for the picturesque. I merely record what is before me, as best I can. I attempt to deny that I've come to think very highly of him, that I like and indeed greatly esteem him.
Like? Esteem him? Oh, cold-hearted, Elinor, nay, worse than cold-hearted, ashamed of being otherwise. Use such language again and I shall leave the room immediately.
Dear Marianne, I meant no offence to you in speaking so quietly of my feelings. Well, believe me, they are stronger than I have stated. But I feel at this stage that it would be premature, even a little immodest, to disclose them too fully, even to myself.
Well, if you're not already engaged, I'm pretty certain you soon will be.
Dear Marianne, I really must ask you to curb that eager imagination of yours.
Oh, fie, Elinor. He's at least as partial to you as you are to him. Go on, Elinor, admit it.
Well, sometimes I think so, yes. Then at others, there's a kind of coolness. No, not a coolness, a reserve, a want of candour almost that disturbs me a little. It is not like him.
Your sister is a person of very strong and fixed ideas, I think.
Oh dear, what has she been saying now?
She doesn't approve of such things as second attachments, I believe.
No, her opinions are all romantic. You must not take too much notice of her, Colonel Brandon. Her ideas are extremely romantic, and she is, of course, very young.
There is something very affecting about the prejudices of a young mind, I always think.
My sister's enthusiasms are indeed rather strong. I fear they sometimes have the unfortunate appearance of setting propriety at naught. But a better acquaintance with the world at large will, I hope, bring about some modification.
Mamma, you know why she's suddenly in favour of this trip.
You mean it is in the hope of seeing Willoughby again?
Yes, Mamma. He has not once written to her since the day he left, not once.
Poor, poor Marianne. She has such a warm, impetuous heart.
Yes, and I'm afraid she will suffer for it. Because he will only think that she's followed him to London to force her affections upon him, which will indeed be quite true.
Then you must look after her and try to prevent her behaving foolishly. You always had the wisest head in the family.
Oh, if you think that Colonel Brandon has any intention of making me his wife, then I assure you, brother, that you are quite wrong.
I think you are mistaken, Elinor. I think you are very much mistaken. I thought I observed a considerable warmth in his manner towards you just now. Oh, you may well blush, miss. You may well blush.
I'm not blushing, thank you, brother.
It would indeed be droll if Fanny were to have a brother married and I a sister at the same time, would it not?
What? Did you say Mr. Ferrers is to be married?
Well, it is not quite arranged yet, so say nothing. But his mother has decided that it would be as well.
Is that so? And has she also decided whom he is to marry?
She has her ideas on the matter, certainly. Yes, I may safely tell you, sister, since you are always discreet, I know. But it is her wish that he should be betrothed to no lesser person than the elder Miss Mortimer. Yeah, that surprises you, does it not?
I'm afraid I can make no comment, as I do not know the lady.
I just can't believe it. And how long have you known all this?
Oh, about 4 months. Since she first came to stay at Barton.
4 months? And how did you find out?
She told me herself, with all possible speed and at great length.
You've been so calm, so outwardly cheerful. Oh, Elinor, how could you not tell me? How could you let me go on behaving as I did?
Because she made me promise I would tell no one. Many, many times have I longed to undeceive you and Mother, but I could not.
And you still love him?
I acquit him of all misconduct in the affair. Beyond the original mistake of allowing himself to become contracted before his judgment was properly formed. In fact, I wish him very happy, and hope that he may be so. Lucy, for all her faults, is superior to many in her understanding.
Well, if that is what you truly feel, then I've nothing more to say on the subject.
You think, do you not, that I have no strong feelings? Believe me, Marianne, I have. I assure you, it has not been easy to learn all this from her who is responsible for taking Edward from me. To have to witness her look of triumph as she told me. Yet not give her the satisfaction of displaying the extent of hurt she'd inflicted. Believe me, I have suffered. I have suffered. But it's my pride, I suppose, that will not allow me to show how much.
Oh, Ellen.
So you want me to convey this generous offer?
If you would, Miss Dashwood.
Colonel Brandon, please don't think that I'm not sensible of the honour you do me in asking me to speak on your behalf. But really, I'm afraid that this is something I cannot do. I mean, of course, that the generosity is yours, and that the credit and thanks should be yours also.
But that is precisely what I prefer to avoid, Miss Dashwood. I was hoping you would see your way to help me and be my friend, as you have done before on several occasions. However, if you would prefer not, then I quite understand. Goodbye, Miss Dashwood.
Wait. I will speak if you wish me to.
I'm sure no one would do it with more tact and good sense than yourself. I'm a poor hand at these matters, I'm afraid.
When would you wish me to speak to him?
Well, as soon as possible, I should say, wouldn't you? So that he may plan his future and marry whenever he so wishes. Well, goodbye, Miss Dashwood. Thank you.
Goodbye, Colonel Brandon. You will think it most extraordinary conduct on my part to visit you like this unaccompanied. But I have a piece of news of such particular importance to yourself that I hope you will forgive me.
But of course. Anything that
Please,
brings you...
I will keep my visit as brief as possible. In short, I have just seen Colonel Brandon, who is so incensed by your mother's treatment of you that he wishes me to convey his desire that you should accept the living of Delaford.
Colonel Brandon offers me a living. But why?
For the reason I have just given. He is a good-hearted man and, like the rest of us, greatly distressed to hear of your disinheritance.
Oh. Now I see it. This is your doing. You know you are too good to me.
No, you are quite mistaken.
Elinor?
I do assure you, you owe it entirely to your own merit. I have not said one word upon the subject, and am to act merely as go-between. I was charged particularly to tell you that though the living is not a rich one, it is sufficient, together with a house, to make your marriage a possibility. The Colonel wished me to make that point perfectly clear.
I see. Thank you.
Now, having discharged my obligation, if you would excuse me.
Oh, don't go.
May I wish you every happiness for the future. Yourself and, of course, Miss Steele. She was truly deplorable, Mr. Willoughby, but hardly so desperate as that of the poor creature whose life you had so thoughtlessly ruined.
Miss Dashwood, my conduct was extremely wrong, I'll admit. But in these matters, you know, the fault is very seldom solely on the one side.
You will do little to improve your case, sir, by trying to share the blame, however justly, with a poor young woman whose sufferings must be so immeasurably greater than your own. This is not worthy of you.
I have longed for this moment from the instant of our first meeting. Dear, dear Elinor. Would you... Could you possibly...
No, Edward, no.
But why?
Well, the gravel is much too damp. We had a shower early this morning. There, if you must be so foolish, take that.
Oh, prudent, practical Elinor. How could anyone fail to love you?